Now on talkSPORT Extra Time, something for the weekend, something you should be very grateful for indeed, because many of us are going ever so slightly stir-crazy. Cabin fever setting in. So you might need these recommendations from me, Paul Ross and Van Connor. We give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 films for the weekend on TV and all on Freeview. Van, welcome back, matey. How's your week been and how are you coping with things? Getting quiet out there, isn't it?
It's like a ghost town out there. I keep hearing that song by the Specials. It's been trying, but I've got the movies to get me through. So, you know, there's always that upside to it.
And we're starting with an absolute belter, I think. Very underrated at the time by some critics. I know you love this film. It's tonight, it's film 4, and it's The Gift at 11:15. For those who don't know, tell us a bit about it, Van.
So The Gift is a movie that stars Joel Edgerton, Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall. It's like a proper late 80s, early 90s style R-rated psycho thriller. But the hook here as well is that it's also written and directed for the very first time by Joel Edgerton as well. And he seems to have cast himself in the meatiest, scene-stealingest kind of a role he can. And it's quite a thing. It's definitely interesting. It's worth a watch. I've got a clip for you of Jason Bateman running into Joel Edgerton, a former high school friend, and introducing him to his wife.
I think I know you.
Yeah? I'm sorry. Can't place you.
Is your name Simon? Simon Cowell?
Yeah, Simon. Hi.
Oh,
we know each other.
Oh, we went to school together.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Which one? Fairmont
Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Same grade? What year did you graduate? Hey, honey. Excuse me 1 second. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
We'll rush. This is my wife, Robin. This is, I didn't get your name, sorry.
Gordon Mosley.
Hi, Gordon. Robin.
Gordo?
Hey.
Wow, buddy. I did not recognize you. Gordon Mosley. Oh, my gosh, honey.
Yeah?
Gordo and I went to school together like, I don't know, what,
Really?
80 years ago.
Almost.
And you can hear the kind of social unease and the creepiness even at that first encounter. This really gets under your skin, this film, I think.
It does, and it goes to some truly out there places. Like, this goes way beyond the line that you expect it to. I had a great time with this.
And he's called The Gift because he keeps turning up the Joel Edgerton character with gifts, but that gets increasingly scary, doesn't it?
Very Hand That Rocks the Cradle level psychodrama, isn't it?
Well, I've got a cracker, I think. It's from 1993. It was from that first burst of Quentin Tarantino arriving on the scene like a kind of incandescent meteor. He wrote it with, or co-wrote it with Roger Avery. It's directed by Tony Scott, whom we both really rate. Stars Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette. You've also got Gary Oldman in it. An amazing cast. Christopher Walken, Brad Pitt, and even James Gandolfino of The Sopranos fame. It is, of course, the brilliant True Romance. 11:20 tonight, Sony Movies. It's basically young couple, romance, on the run, crime, plus Dennis Hopper. Let's have the trailer.
From the director of Top Gun and Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Hello, baby.
Clarence?
I'm a married man, buddy.
A con man.
Ask him if he got the letter.
Did you get the letter?
What letter?
Your wife's barking you.
No, Con, tell him we gotta go.
A call girl.
You cop all day?
Huh?
I'm out there.
She threw her on fire or what? She seems very nice. What are you doing in L.A. anyway, huh?
And a suitcase full of trouble.
My name is Vincent Cocotti. I work as consul for Mr. Blue Boyle, the man your son stole from.
Now, all that stands between them and their wildest dreams.
Find out who this wing and a prayer artist is and take him off at the neck.
Are 60 cops. 40 agents.
You a wild man, this kid Clarence. I like him.
30 mobsters.
I haven't killed anybody since 1984.
And a few thousand bullets.
We're all gonna die here. These are cops.
Now, a couple of years ago, I think in 2017, Empire magazine had a list of, one of those lists of the 100 best films of all time. This came in at 83rd. This is a mad, fun, violent romp, isn't it, Van?
Well, you know what, Paul? I'm going to be really honest with you. Even though I've recommended The Gift, I think I'm going to be watching your recommendation tonight. Having heard it back, you're like, oh, wow, this is so... You know what? I forget how brilliant True Romance is. It's so good. I'm going to have to watch it again.
And that scene between Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper, known as the Sicilian scene.
Exactly.
I won't go into detail, but that is one of the key moments in modern cinema, I think. OK, so that's our Friday. That's tonight sorted out for us. We've got The Gift on Film 4. We've got True Romance on Sony Movies. What have you got for us for tomorrow night, or for tomorrow afternoon, maybe, Van? What's on the blocks?
So, Saturday, we have one of my favourite films of the last decade from one of my very favourite filmmakers. It's Inception, in which Christopher Nolan literally goes actually cerebral on us and introduces what's basically a heist movie inside someone's mind. So where reality is fluid, the laws of physics don't apply, anything is possible, even a complete takeoff of the James Bond snow mountain base assault sequence. It's got everything you could want and more. I've got a clip for you of Leonardo DiCaprio as the token Nolan-esque lead, because he always has a character who looks and sounds exactly like him for some reason. And he's arranging his heist and how they're going to pull off this Inception, the implanting of an idea in one man's mind.
OK, it's ITV tomorrow night, 10 p.m. It's Inception.
We need at least a good 10 hours.
Sydney to Los Angeles. One of the longest flights in the world. He makes it every 2 weeks.
He must be flying private then.
Not if there were unexpected maintenance with his plane.
It would have to be a 747.
Why is that?
So a 747, the pilot's up top, the first class cabin's in the nose, so no one would walk through. But you'd have to buy out the entire cabin and the first class flight attendant.
I bought the airline. It seemed neater.
It looks like we have our 10 hours.
Great melon-twisting movie, this one. I love this film, Ben.
Oh, yeah.
Great recommendation. And I've got another good film. Actually, it spawned a sequel. There may be number 3 on the way as well, possibly, based on a comic book. It's called, well, its full title should be Retired, Extremely Dangerous, only they shorten it to the acronym RED. It's from 2010, 9 o'clock tonight, E4. Again, a great cast. Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, Helen Mirren, John Malkovich stealing every scene he's in, and Brian Cox. And basically, it does what it says in the longer version of the title. They're all former killers, top agents, who've been retired, but are regarded as being, shall we say, too dangerous to take off the books. I've got the trailer. Folks are going to really enjoy this. It's a belter.
They used to be the CIA's top agents.
Victoria, best network asset in the business.
What's that? I kill people, dear.
But the secrets they know
This is off the books. Total blackout.
just made them the agency's top targets.
Tell me everything you know.
Some thumbsucker tagged him red.
Red?
Retired, extremely dangerous. Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore.
They certainly don't, although they did, because they made the sequel, which wasn't great, the talk of Red 3. Did you enjoy this movie when it came out, Van?
I did, actually. I really liked the very slickly pulled-off action sequences. I was actually very happy at the time as well, because I was really into that series Weeds at that point. And I was really happy to see Mary Louise Parker from that show turn up as the love interest, as sort of unwitting, drag-along bystander character in this. I thought she was a lot of fun as well. Pretty good movie. I can't remember if it's this one or the sequel. One of them has Richard Dreyfuss in, and the other one has Brian Cox, and I can't remember which way round it goes.
I think Richard Dreyfuss is in the sequel. I think Brian Cox, I think, is in the one that's on tomorrow night, 9 o'clock E4. And you've got something interesting for us, BBC 10:30 Sunday night. I'm surprised that this film is on that late, actually, 10:30 p.m. Tell us about A Monster Calls.
You see, you're having exactly the same reaction I did. Why is this movie on at 10:30 on a Sunday night when you could feasibly show this at 7 p.m? It's a pretty family-friendly film. It's basically best described as a sort of family-friendly, almost Guillermo del Toro-esque sort of melodramatic horror movie, but with a sort of family-friendly angle, almost sort of Roald Dahl-esque in the way it's sort of layered. And the idea is you've got a young boy whose mother is dying, she has terminal cancer, and as he is dealing with this grief and coming to terms with who he's going to live with, his dad back, his estranged father coming back into the picture, he is visited by, this is where it gets weird, a giant tree with the voice of Liam Neeson, who says he's going to come back every night and tell him 3 stories, and that's somehow going to help him. It is far more meaningful than it sounds. I've got a clip for you of Liam Neeson turning up as a tree on night 1 of Storytime.
Here we go. It's on the BBC 10:30 Sunday night, and it's A Monster Calls.
What took you so long? It is time for me to tell you the first tale.
I don't need a tale. I need a bus ticket for my grandma.
It is time for me to tell you Where do you think you're going? I will be listened to. I am as old as this land, and I will...
What do you know about anything?
I know everything about you, Connor O'Malley.
No, you don't. If you did, you know I don't have time to listen to stupid stories or stupidry that is just a dream.
A dream? What is a dream, Connor O'Malley? And who is to say that it is not everything else that is a dream?
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this. It wasn't what I was expecting, even from the trailer. It's quite a moving film, this, isn't it?
Very much so. It does play like an almost sort of upper echelon, more art house Tim Burton kind of a affair. It's got that stylization, but it's got a story that's deeply rooted in, you know, emotion and trauma and you know, these internal stresses. And I thought it was kind of a mature film, but at the same time, really family friendly. This is the kind of thing that you could feasibly show to a young child experiencing grief, and they might actually find something in it.
Yeah, it's just a bit late for 10:30, but it's worth recording, I suppose, folks, for those long days that might lie ahead if you've got children in the house. And I'm going to end with my Western of the weekend. The original Magnificent Seven, released in 1960. Unbelievably, it is 60 years old this year. It was based on, I know, 1960. Made stars of the likes of Charles Bronson, James Coburn, and of course Steve McQueen. You had Yul Brynner as the main man. Also, you had, I think it was Brad Dexter and Horse Magnificent Seven, Robert Vaughn, of course, from Man from U.N.C.L.E. That was based on The Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa, an absolute black and white masterpiece, that film. They remade it a couple of years ago, 2016. It's on Sunday night, Magnificent Seven, 9 o'clock on ITV4. It stars Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, also popping up Vincent D'Onofrio and Peter Sarsgaard. It's a different twist on the tale, but I think it's still a kind of, it's got an old-fashioned quality to it, I think, this Western, hasn't it, Van?
It does. It's fairly rooted. It's fairly reverent. It does respect the original. It doesn't try to deviate too much. It tries to be a good old-fashioned romp without injecting too much modern stuff into it.
And of course, the Training Day main man, Antoine Fuqua, has reunited Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington for this. Let's have the trailer. It's 9 o'clock. It's Sunday night, ITV4. The Magnificent Seven. Let them ride.
Man carries a gun, he tends to use it.
Dan, you dead? Pity. I had just ordered a drink from that man.
Took a job, looking for some men to join me.
Is it difficult? Impossible. How many you got so far?
You and me.
Who's she?
We work for her.
Good Lord.
That's right.
That man murdered my husband.
I want something. I take it.
He will take everything we have.
So you seek revenge?
I seek righteousness. But I'll take revenge.
So that's another great ensemble cast there. You've given some great recommendations, Van. What have you got planned for the weekend? Up to anything much?
I'm just going to be rooting ahead for next week's offerings for off-screen. I think we might have a couple of screening links for the next week. So trolls are here.
Okay, so how can people find you and Rebecca Perfect in your cinematic musings? Remind us.
You can find us on podcast platforms every Friday morning as off-screen. We'll be doing the week's best offerings on Freeview, rather like we do, you and I, but we do kind of the whole week. And we've also got the best things coming to DVD and streaming as well.
Brilliant stuff. That's our mate Van Connor talking to me, Paul Ross, here on talkSPORT Extra Time. And that, my friends, is a wrap.